All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a super specific family of American jet fighters. I mean, these four aircraft became way more than just machines of war. They're absolute legends. And that's the weird thing, right? It kind of begs the question, why do we sometimes fall in love with weapons of war? I mean, what is it about these specific jets that makes them feel less like military hardware and more like, I don't know, movie stars?
So the planes we're diving into are the F-14 Tomcat, the F-15 Eagle, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, and the F/A-18 Hornet. Together, they're known as the Teen Series. And man, were they born at a wild time. A moment of just massive change, both technologically and culturally.
Okay, so to really get why these jets were such a game changer, we gotta rewind. We have to go back to the one conflict that basically forced them into existence, the Vietnam War. For American air power, it was a brutal wake-up call.
See, here's the thing. The Pentagon went into Vietnam with this big idea. They were totally convinced that the classic up-close dogfight was dead, over. The future, they thought, was all about super long-range missiles. You know, push a button from miles away. Well, spoiler alert, they were about to get a serious lesson in being wrong.
So you've got American pilots, right? They're strapped into these F-4 Phantoms and they're up against these zippy little Soviet MiGs. There's this legendary quote from a pilot who said the Phantom had the aerodynamic profile of a brick. And honestly, he wasn't kidding. The thing was a tank. Heavy, couldn't turn to save its life. Get it into a close quarters fight and it was just totally outmatched.
The reality up there was just harsh. Those fancy new missiles, totally unreliable. The big American jets, they were getting outmaneuvered left and right. And the dogfight? Oh yeah, it was far from obsolete. It was painfully clear that something had to change, and fast.
So what happened next wasn't just about building a better plane. No, it was a full-blown ideological dogfight right back at home. After Vietnam, you had these two totally opposite ideas clashing over what America's next fighter jet should even be. So on one side, you had this group they called the Fighter Mafia. These guys wanted to get back to basics. They were screaming for simple, light, super agile jets. No fancy radar, no complex computers, just pure, unadulterated flying performance. Then, on the other side, you had the military-industrial complex, and they were like, nope, we're gonna build the most powerful, high-tech beast imaginable. We're talking massive engines, advanced radar, the works.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because in the end, neither side got exactly what they wanted. This whole debate forced a kind of compromise. The jets that came out of this crucible were a perfect mix of both philosophies. They had the high-tech power, but they also had this new respect for pure agility. And that's the secret sauce of the Teen series.
All right, so now that you've got the backstory, let's meet the actual rock stars.
First up, we've got the heavy hitters, the big guns. These two were designed for pure air dominance, the absolute apex predators of their time.
First, feast your eyes on the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. This beast was the Air Force's definitive answer to the lessons of Vietnam. It was an air superiority machine, period. The whole thing was designed around its incredibly powerful radar and its massive engines. And you gotta love that description. Its air intakes look like a bodybuilder's lats. I mean, come on, that just screams raw power.
And that power wasn't just for show. The F-15's combat record is, well, it's insane. 104 confirmed air-to-air kills with 0 losses. Let that sink in, 0. To this day, it's one of the most successful fighters ever to take to the skies. Just unbelievable. Okay, next up is its Navy cousin, the Grumman F-14 Tomcat. Now, if the F-15 was the undefeated champion, the F-14 was the superstar. It was built to defend Navy carriers from long-range threats. It was a technical masterpiece, famous for those iconic swing wings that would sweep back in flight. It was basically a supercar in the sky. And that was before a little movie called Top Gun made it a global icon. But the Teen series wasn't just about these heavyweight brawlers. The other half of the family were these lighter, more versatile fighters, really designed to be the workhorses. And that brings us to the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon. Now this jet was a direct result of that fighter mafia thinking. It was light, insanely agile, and it was packed with brand new tech, like a fly-by-wire system. Basically, instead of heavy cables and pulleys, it used electronic signals to control the plane. That was totally revolutionary stuff. This plane was built to do everything, and boy did it do it well.
And its success? It's just staggering. Over 4,600 F-16s have been built. That's more than any other jet in the series, by a long shot. It really became the go-to multi-role fighter for countries all over the world.
And finally, we have the FA-18 Hornet. And here's the fun fact, it was actually born from the prototype that lost to the F-16 in the Air Force competition. But the Navy saw something special in it, especially its twin-engine design, which is a huge safety bonus when you're landing on a moving carrier in the middle of the ocean. The Hornet became known for being a master of agility, especially at low speeds. And yeah, it got its own moment in the Hollywood spotlight too, thanks to Top Gun Maverick.
And when you look at all four of them, there's this one thing that just ties them all together. It's their design. They all have this aggressive, almost predatory look. I mean, even when they're just sitting on the tarmac, they look like they're breaking the sound barrier. They were built for pure performance, and as a side effect, they ended up looking absolutely incredible.
So that brings us all the way back to that first question we asked. Why these jets? Why did they become these huge cultural icons? It's got to be more than just their cool looks, right?
Well, for one thing, their footprint in our culture is just massive. You can't deny it. For decades, if you saw a fighter jet in a movie, on TV, or in a video game, chances are it was one of these four. From Top Gun to the Ace Combat games, I mean, they're the most media-friendly, most celebrated fighters in history. It's not even close.
So in the end, it was really a perfect storm. You know, they had these radical designs, they showed up at this crucial moment in history, and then pop culture just grabbed them and ran with it. It's something that just hasn't happened since. Think about modern jets like the F-22 or the F-35. They're amazing, but they're often too top secret to really be shown off. And let's be honest, their stealthy shapes just don't have that same kind of raw visual punch.
And that's really the bottom line here. This moment in time, this perfect blend of incredible engineering and cultural myth-making, it just can't be replicated. It was a true once-in-a-generation thing.
Which kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about, doesn't it? It's fascinating, for sure, to see how these machines of war became such beloved icons. But as the world changes, and the nature of conflict changes with it, maybe, just maybe, it's for the best that we never see our weapons become movie stars quite like this ever again.